Hey beautiful people, welcome back to Wilder Path Farm. If you're new here, we do everything homesteading and gardening. If you're not new here, then welcome back. It's nice to see you. Today I want to talk about what you can still grow in August here in Canada where it's kind of cool. So first off, one of the most underrated root vegetables is beets. Now, beets are very cold tolerant and you still have plenty of time to sow them and reap harvest. These beets mature within 50 to 60 days. Currently, right now, we have about 65-ish days. All the veggies that I've chosen are all cold tolerant, so if you get a little bit of a frost, you should be more than okay. Next, I want to talk about peas. Peas are some of my family's favorite vegetable to eat. We like to freeze them or can them and use them in plenty of recipes. Now, these are bush peas, but there's also climbing peas just behind me. And I recently just sowed a whole bunch and they will be ready for a fall harvest. Now, since we just moved here, a lot of the stuff that I have sowed during the summer is going to be ready for the fall. We had to build a garden, so that did take some time. And we are still reaping the harvest from our summer garden with zucchini, summer squash, tomatoes, and we have peppers in our mini high tunnel. But definitely, if you haven't already, sow some peas and get a really good harvest. Next, I want to talk about one of the more obvious ones is all your kind of leafy greens. So that includes lettuce. These are small head lettuces and leaf lettuces. You just want to check on the back of the seed packet how many days till maturity. These are 55 to 65 days, so we still got a good amount of time. Some lettuce take much shorter. This is a 50-day variety. Within the leafy green category, I've put spinach, kale, and arugula. These all are short maturity varieties, and you still have a good amount of time to plant these and harvest. They are frost tolerant, so that means that if you do get a frost, you will be okay. If you get a severe frost, I would probably, for even most of these, just cover them with frost fabric or a sheet if you have one, just to kind of give a little buffer in between. It definitely really helps. Now, the next one I want to talk about will be dependent on your first frost date. Our first frost date here is estimated about the end of September, so I still have a little bit of time left. I want to do another succession of bush beans. Now, this may be pushing it just a smidge, but at the same time, we have the optimal temperatures for beans to germinate. We're not getting too cold and it's not too hot. Depending on your zone and your last frost date, it's more dependent on your last frost date rather than zone, if you can squeeze in another succession of bush beans. Now, another one that will depend on your area is cucumbers. These are short day varieties. They're only 50 and 52 days. So I still have time to sow and harvest from these. They do germinate really quickly right now, so I'm not too concerned. I may not get like a giant harvest, but I definitely will get more cucumbers. Next, I have a couple of squash here. Now, you may be getting sick of squash. I definitely am not, especially summer squash. We love it. We love to put it on the grill. We love to bake with it. It's so good. We love to fry it in the frying pan with a little olive oil, salt, and pepper. So good. Definitely want to sow some more. So I have some lemon squash here, golden zucchini, and regular green zucchini. These are all about 60-ish days. Now, this may be pushing it as well, but these germinate super quickly, and I'm not really too concerned. If I have to cover these to get a little bit extra out of them, I don't mind, but it's worth a shot. And also, this is my first season here in this area, so it'll be nice to see how far I can actually push it. Now, all the varieties and all the veggies that I've talked about that are not frost tolerant, like cucumbers and zucchini and squash, you're going to want to check your last frost date. Can't stress that enough, to make sure if you have enough time to grow them. Now, I have quite the array here of carrots. Carrots are another staple in our family. These are 60 to 65 days, so there may be just enough time, but these are also very cold tolerant, so I don't really think that there would be any issue sowing these in. I've also had carrots in the ground when there was snow on the ground, so if we get an unexpected snowfall, I'm not really too concerned. But I definitely want to start these now so they get optimal root growth, so that when I do harvest them, I get the biggest carrot I possibly can. So you can start a lot of these, from seed, and that's what I've been referring to throughout this video. But I also haven't mentioned, if you buy a started plant, of course you're going to get harvest way sooner. These guys were started a couple weeks ago. These are cucumbers, and they're also already flowering. They're a little bit root bound within this pot, and they may struggle a bit with transplant. But at the same time, I'm going to sow these and sow some seeds so that I can ensure a harvest. You can start seeds even earlier throughout the summer season. So I've started some beets here. You can also definitely direct sow beets, but I wanted to be able to separate these out and plant them separately and ensure germination in the areas that I planted. I think having a fall garden is a little bit of a taboo subject within Canada, because once it's fall, it's really cool. It drops to 5 degrees Celsius and sometimes much cooler into the evening, and then during the day you're hitting somewhere in the teens Celsius, so that can be quite cool for a bunch of veggies that we would typically grow in our summer garden. But at the same time, there's a lot of vegetables that are like peas and carrots, all your brassicas. You definitely, if you're gonna put brassicas into your fall garden, you definitely want to have starts already started by this time. With that being said, it's definitely more than doable. I think that we kind of have been spooked because there's quite a bit of intense weather here in Canada. So I would really encourage you to try to have a fall garden, no matter where you are. If you're in Canada, the United States, a different part of the world, definitely just try it. If you fail, you tried and you learned. You got something out of it. Maybe you got a handful of vegetables on top of that. But if you succeed, then you learn where your boundaries are. And you also get an extra basket full of harvest that you get to enjoy into the fall, and maybe be able to can to enjoy during the winter. So I definitely encourage you to try a fall garden no matter where you are. I really hope this inspired you. If it has, make sure to hit the subscribe button, because it really helps me share my content with people that are like-minded and that enjoy gardening in all parts of the world. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.